Hey, one of the best books I've read so far this year. I didn't actually read it. It was an audiobook, and I don't remember things that well when they're an audiobook, so I'll probably listen to it again. It's definitely worth listening to again. It's Limitless by Jim Kwik. I'd never heard of Jim Kwik before. Um, Kwik Quick, and it was actually recommended to me by a colleague. But it's brilliant. It's amazing. I mean, he essentially talks about how the best superpower you can possibly have is learning, um, and then goes on to demonstrate why this is the case. So Jim Kwik is a kid who came over, somewhere in the Far East. I'm not sure if he's Chinese or Malaysian or something, but his name is spelt as if it was an American name, Jim Kwik. Um, but he came over, and he said as a youngster he was ashamed of you know, not having any money and living in the back of a laundrette. So yeah, a normal immigrant story. They start off and it's tough, and now he's risen to the point where I imagine financially he does really, really, really well. He's got, he's written a best-selling book. He coaches actors. He coached people on the Marvel movies in terms of memorizing their scripts and everything. Hangs out with A-list Hollywood people. So I imagine he's doing very well financially. Um, but his story is when he was a kid, he was known as the boy of the broken brain. He had a real problem learning because he fell and he smacked his head on a radiator in school when he was very young, and it gave him uh, some form of brain injury. So he then had to, he struggled, he always struggled for his school, but then he had to, relearn how to learn. So his whole thing is the greatest superpower you can have is being able to learn anything. And that's what the book's about. Now, there are some tricks in the book, for example, memory tricks, and one of them I used, and I still remember it now. It was to memorize a list of random words, which I, dreamt up with my daughters. Random words, it was things like pigeon, motorcycle, trousers, decorations, tiger. That's actually from one of the lists we memorized, about 30 words. And it was like that. I described it to my daughters, they got it, they can still remember the list backwards and forwards. And then there are other mnemonics as well that he describes, how people become memory champions. So that's just one of the fun things about the book. Really enjoyable book, really inspiring. He talks about the method, motivation, and mindset, which are the three things you need to learn anything. He says when you go into learning something, you need. He gives a lot of a lot of these sort of memory tools, I guess. So there's a list of brain foods in there that are really good for your brain. One of the things he talks about is maybe wake up in the morning and try, if you're right-handed, brush your teeth with your left hand. I always do that now. I don't even think about it. Apparently, it improves and increases brain flexibility, which makes sense. Really fascinating book, and one with really good tools in it. I don't use a lot of the methods. For example, he's got the loci method for memorizing, huge lists and everything. Um, but just realizing that everyone has actually got a really good memory if they know how to use it. There's no such thing as a bad memory. Short of brain injury, there's no such thing as a bad memory. So everyone's got really good memory. So now it's at the point where I'll write a shopping list, and usually I don't bother writing it. My wife will say, "We need this, blah blah blah." I'll pretend I'm writing it down. I'm not, but I never forget a single thing, and that's not through any sudden, I took a magic pill and it made me limitless. It's just I realize actually we've all got a really, really good memory. So it's a really nice book in terms of it tells the story of these people who used to struggle with things and now mastered things. So there's a woman who works for Jim Quick's organization who, it's a similar story to his. She was an immigrant. She always found things difficult. She always found it difficult to read, and now she teaches other people to do things with their minds that they would have considered previously impossible. I'm going to listen to this book again. It's that good. Definitely read it. It's Limitless by Jim Kwik. The stories he tells are entertaining and inspiring. The techniques he gives really, really work, and it will lead you on to lots and lots of further reading. And as a result of that book, I use a lot more turmeric now because it's good for you. I always knew that, but reading it in his book and seeing how it's meant to help the brain, it just changed things for me. It's a great book, and I've only listened to it on audio. There's lots of resources as well that you can get with the book, which are worth following up. So definitely, speed reading is the other thing I got out of it. Since I read that damn thing, or listened to it and did a couple of the exercises, I think initially my reading speed was about 260 words a minute, maybe something like that. I got up to, on the practice sessions, I went all the way up to I think it's over 600 words a minute, and now my normal reading pace is probably around the 400 words a minute. So, which is great because I can pick up any book I like the look of now. I don't have to consider, I don't have to read the blurb on the back and think, will this book be worth reading? It would take me ages. No, I know I can get a book that thick, whatever, and just that'll be done in a few days. So that, if nothing else, just getting that speed reading, which I used to use back in my 20s and my teens, but then I figured, I'm not taking this in, but that was nothing to do with the technique. That was to do with everything else that was going on in my life. I'm not taking it in. I need to slow down. That's bullshit. You can take in a whole load of information. Yeah, and I can probably get through a book, 100 pages, 150 pages a day, no problem now. And actually, imagine how useful that is. If you like reading, if you like, entertainment, if you like, because you don't have to read for learning, of course, but as you read, even entertaining stuff, it takes you places. It's really great. But I'm going to shut up now because that's 6 minutes. Limitless, Jim Kwik, very good book. Read it.